When you're looking for a people mover, the cars that usually come to mind include the Toyota Hiace, the Hyundai Starex, or even the Nissan NV350. But if you want something a little bit bigger, something a little bit more comfortable, something different, then you can try out this car right here. This one right here is the Maxus V80 Comfort, a car that is ridiculously big. Today I'm going to show you around this car and I'm also going to give it a test drive, so stay tuned. Now I am no stranger to really large vehicles. In fact, I often drive a Land Cruiser 200, a full-size Land Cruiser, but this car is just big. This is bigger than the Land Cruiser. You can just see how massive this is. I really love how this one has a head or a nose, which just gives you an extra sense of safety when you are driving down the highway. You get a huge chrome grille, the Maxus badge on it, LED DRLs, and you also get fog lights on this one. Pairing this ginormous fan is this 2.5 liter turbo diesel engine making 136 horsepower and 330 Newton meters of torque. We will find out later if this engine is enough to propel this ginormous thing. It has also made it to a 6-speed manual transmission. On the side, the Maxus V80's size makes itself more apparent. Take a look at just how huge this car is. It's not only wide, it's not only long, but this car is just so damn tall. I'm 5'6", not the tallest in the world, I know, but seriously, look at the height difference between me and this car. Other silent cues here, as you can see, would be this line right here. That's pretty much it. 16-inch rims. At least you don't get steelies on this one. And these, well, door handles that move towards the side. Huge wing mirrors with repeaters on it, and also a blind spot mirror just below the main side mirror. What you'll also notice here is that unfortunately you can only get this car with one door only on the passenger side, so you don't get a sliding door over here at the driver's side. Fun fact first, why is this called the Maxus V80? Now originally this car was called the Leyland Maxus, and so when SAIC, the Chinese company, bought this car and made the completely new brand for it, they named it after, well, the Leyland Maxus, and hence, well, the Maxus. So this is actually the namesake for the entire Maxus brand, this V80. Now as you can see back here, you do get reverse sensors, very handy for a car this big, and more importantly, you do get barn doors in this car, which is quite rare in this segment because usually you do get those lift up tailgates, which is pretty hard to open in tight spaces. And over here you have a huge loading area. I mean, if you remove these seats, you can even expand this, but as it is, you can just fold these down, put your luggages over here, or stow them down below. Inside the Maxus V80, we check the door thud. Yeah, it sounds like a bus. And in here, in the interior, it also feels like a bus or a truck. I mean, just take a look at your steering wheel right here. The way it is angled is very truck-like or bus-like. And what's cool about it is that you don't have a horn in the middle. You do get an airbag, which also says airbag. It's making itself known. Your horns are here towards the sides of the steering wheel. Pretty cool. Towards the center, this is where your instrument cluster is. Very basic, not much there. And a radio with Bluetooth, an aux port, and also USB. So that's more than what you need. You also get 4 speakers on this one, huge space, 6-speed manual transmission, and also an armrest that is adjustable. I really love this. Huge jug holder on the side, and this is a 13-seater car, so you can actually seat 3 here in the middle, and there's just so much space. Oh, dual front airbags too, by the way. Now we enter the back of the car, but before that, I want to show you the fuel cap. So you just stick your key in here, twist it, and then this entire fuel cup comes with it. So it's just really cool. Now when you open up this sliding door, it is pretty big. This automatic step board comes up. That way you can easily enter the car even if you have passengers who are on the elderly side. And in here, let me just tell you, the space is amazing. I mean, even the seat comfort is way better than the competition that costs like half, 50% more than this car. It's just amazing back here. Even if I sit like here at the front, I get my own map pockets over there, and I can almost stand up here, not all the way, but almost. Then you can also recline each of these seats on the first 2 rows. The last row, the 4-seater part, you can't recline them though. Another thing that really sets apart the Maxus V80 here at the back from the other competitors is that the seats are a lot wider than your typical people mover, so you won't really find yourself fighting for space in terms of width with those beside you. The windows are also sufficiently large, which means that it never ever gets claustrophobic here inside the interior. Plus, you get a lot of air vents in this car, which are very powerful. Some cool features of this one, despite it being a full-on van: you get power windows, you get power adjustment for your side mirrors, and the seats can also adjust height for both the back part and also the front part. That is just pretty cool for a van like this. Remember how we said that this used to be like a British car, a Leyland van? Well, the only way you can open the hood is to come on over here to the passenger side for our left-hand drive cars, and you pull the latch over here for your hood. Driving the Maxus V80 Comfort. I'm laughing because of just how ridiculously big this is. So I actually drove this car all the way from my home in Quezon City to, we had an Automart work shoot over at General Trias in Cavite. And at first it was so hard to drive because of how large it is. I mean, I'm used to driving the Land Cruiser, and I've driven the Starex, the Hi-Ace, even the LXV before. And I had no problems with it, but the size of this one is just astronomical. However, now that I'm on my way back and I'm here on SLEX, it's so easy to drive. I've gotten used to it so quickly. You know, the clutch action in this car is just so soft. You wouldn't really expect it from a car this big. You would imagine a car this big to have like the clutch of a truck, where it's gonna kill your knee, it's gonna cap your knee, it's gonna give you the feeling of gout. But this car doesn't, and the action of the gear lever, it's just so precise. It's easy to put in, it's soft. And also this armrest right here, it's positioned perfectly. That way it's so ergonomic to reach for the gear knob. Anyway, the comfort of the car, this is called the V80 Comfort after all, is surprisingly good. I mean, if you compare this car to the likes of the Hi-Ace, even the new Hi-Ace, the Starex, the Grand Starex, not sure about the Staria, and especially to the Nissan Urban NV350, this is so much better. I think it really is akin to its width, its length, its height even. It's way better. Now, of course, I am the driver, so I don't know how it feels like at the back, but a while ago, my colleague did sit at the back and he said that it is a lot better than what you would get with the aforementioned car. So if you're looking for that comfortable people carrying vehicle, this is the car to get. The driving position in this one is as high as what you would get with trucks and buses. I mean, I don't feel like I will get bullied by like trailer trucks or even canters. The driving position is so high, you see everything in front of you. It's crazy. Speaking of that, visibility is great. You have a low sill and everything around you you can see except for the back, because well, there are those headrests that do block your view. Power in this car, I haven't tried it with like 13 people on board. The most I've had was like 2 people, and even at 2 people there are times that it kind of struggles, wherein I do find myself having to downshift a lot. But how do I put this? I think it's adequate. It's just not fast, but what people mover should be. The steering too, I mean, it's so light, but it doesn't feel incredibly disconnected. And right here on the highway, let me just shimmy it like that, and it's still very stable. It's crazy. But the way that the steering column is angled really feels like that of a truck. So you'll get used to that. Next up would be the noise. This is pretty much a minibus at this point, and I would expect NVH suppression to be frankly garbage, but I am wrong. Aside from these coins which I placed down below in that cubby, nothing in this car rattles. Oh no, yeah, inside the car nothing rattles, but the wing mirrors you can really see them like rattling. But even on rumble strips, it's really just my coins that I hear rattling. It's crazy. Turning radius is not bad. Now, it doesn't have that feeling of a super flat nose as what you get with the NV350, nor does it have the feeling of like a really, really long-nosed car. It's somewhere in the middle. So you're gonna have a lot of confidence when you do make U-turns inside the city. Price-wise, this Maxus V80 in this comfort trim comes in at 1.67 million pesos. That is significantly cheaper than any other car in this class, this size, and of this comfort. It's crazy good. So if you're looking for a people hauler, not just a people mover, as of now, as with most cars that I've driven like this is by far my top recommendation.